You are listening to the Lawyer Stories podcast with host Benny Gold. Lawyer Stories was founded in July 2017 on Instagram and is an expanding global network of lawyers and law students sharing their personal journeys to the noble profession of the practice of law. Join us on this podcast as we dig deeper into these stories and hear from lawyers and law students from around the world in all areas of the legal profession. Here at Lawyer Stories, we believe that every lawyer has a story. What's yours?
Welcome to the Lawyer Stories podcast with Benny Gold. Today we welcome in Saevion David-Longe, a Guyanese lawyer at Stanbrook Prudhoe, focused on civil and commercial litigation in Georgetown, Demerara, Guyana. Did I get that correct?
Demerara, yes.
All right. Okay,
that
good.
was close enough.
All right. Awesome. Hey, welcome in. Great to meet you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy for the opportunity. I've been doing some research on the podcast, and I'm really proud of and happy to see that the story of all the lawyers are being put out there.
Yeah.
I'm definitely happy to be a part of it.
So important. Well, we're glad to have you part of it. And speaking of people who are part of it, episode 205, our friend Jamaican lawyer Anna K. Brown, just a shout out to her, another Stanbrook Prudhoe associate lawyer there. You guys are cool, man. I remember getting on the chat with her and saying, hey, you must get a ton of resumes. People wanting to work in the Caribbean and you go to your website, it's on the beach. You guys are just kind of like,
oh yes,
look like a great group of people. So really cool work environment. Glad to have you on and to learn more about you and the firm. And so tell us about, you grew up in Guyana?
Yes, I'm from Georgetown, Guyana.
Wow.
Georgetown is the capital of Guyana. It's right in the heart of the city. Lived there all my life. So for persons who may not know, Guyana is to the north, of South America. Most persons may fly across when going to Brazil. But if you stop in Guyana, there is an unexpected mix of culture. There is rich history, rich heritage. Although we're in South America, we're very much part of the Caribbean. And more recently, Guyana is on the map as being one of the fastest growing economies in the world.
Yeah.
So I'm from that country, very proudly.
Very proudly. I could hear the pride in the way you talk. That's cool. So very much part of the Caribbean, deep culture and heritage.
Yeah.
That's so tell us about your childhood there. What was it like growing up there? I don't know if you know much about growing up in the States, but what was it like to grow up there?
Well, being within in the city, I'm happy that I came from stable home. I was involved in sports at an early age. I played a bit of cricket, lots of table tennis, lawn tennis, which is my favorite sport. At one point in time, I thought that I needed to be a lawn tennis player, but that did not work out.
You wanted to be a professional tennis player?
Yeah, that was one of the things that I really wanted to do.
What's your take on? Have you heard of pickleball? By the way,
I have. It's
okay.
Yeah, not my favorite.
Okay, all right. So tennis, I do like we call it ping pong. Some of us here, table tennis.
Oh, table tennis, yeah.
Yeah, but you play regular tennis, and you had some.
I play, yeah.
You had some big time matches with your brother and your dad. It was a whole family.
I did.
Yeah.
I remember it was just about 2 years ago. Me and my brother and I, we played tennis growing up, and I would beat him every time.
Really?
But about 2 years ago, yeah, we played in a tournament, and man, I got a whooping.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you're doing too much work now as a lawyer, right?
Yeah, I think it. And he's also very fit. He's in the military.
Okay.
So he was fit and yeah.
Who's your inspiration?
But besides that, I like the three the three greats. There is Roger Federer, Nadal, Djokovic.
Very
Yeah, those
cool.
guys, very inspirational.
Wicked cool. So like what about the lawyer thing? When did that come about? When did you start thinking about law? Like when did you think you had that as an interest?
Um, I think somewhere about the latter part of high school, I realized that I was drawn to, well, this is after I realized that sports was not going to work out
Yeah.
the way I wanted. But in the latter part of high school, I realized that I became really fond of history, sociology, philosophy, at some point, political science.
Right.
And to me, what law did, it brought all of it together.
Hmm.
Sometimes these abstract ideas that would come from philosophy and sometimes history. What law did for me was that it brought it all together and made it very practical.
Interesting.
In addition to that, I've always had a desire, a quiet urge to be of some help. At one point in time, I was thinking perhaps I should get into politics,
Okay.
but I think I'm definitely more drawn to law. I remember a couple incidents in Guyana that confirmed that for me. Seeing persons deal with certain injustices or being treated unfairly.
Yeah.
And I always wonder if I were in the situation or if I were the person to be next to someone who's treated unfairly, what would I be able to do or to tell them? And that urge to help, I think law was very fitting for me. Um, and then, of course, there's the association of status and financial success
Sure.
that you see on the shows, but quickly you realize it's not automatic. You
It's
don't become a lawyer and then um, you become prestigious and wealthy. It comes after a lot of hard work. It comes from discipline, resilience, and also I think it comes from a deep sense of purpose also. Um, for me, it was combining all of the things that I liked
hmm
and just the desire to help people,
Yeah, sure.
um, and realizing you don't just get rich off of after you become a lawyer, you become rich. Because just as we see lawyers who are prominent, who are very successful, wealthy even, there are lawyers who would give the profession a bad name,
Right.
as I would put it. So it's not automatic. It comes with hard work, resilience, discipline, and so on.
Yeah, Savion, I think that's very well put. A lot of people who aren't in the profession think that, oh, you're a lawyer, you're going to make a lot of money, that's sort of how
Yeah,
it is. But they don't realize when you come out of
doesn't
law
always
school,
happen that way.
yeah, you come out of law school, you got to work for that. You know what I'm saying? You got to
Yeah,
work. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying about that. So, your family seems deeply rooted in both professional and athletic pursuits. What role did your family life play when you were in steering you towards being toward law and doing your tennis and that sort of thing?
Mhm. One of the things I'm grateful for is that I've always had very, very supportive parents.
Good.
They recognize talent. Is the reason I got into tennis and sports generally, because they recognize that I'm a bit more agile. My hand-eye coordination is good. So I got involved in tennis. I was able to secure more wins than losses. I did a bit of traveling. Um, and also in terms of providing the guidance in terms of career. There
Yep.
was a point in time when I was unsure if it should be law, if it should be politics.
Right.
I was thinking my friends are doing science, maybe I should do science. But having some very sobering conversations with my parents, you know, it really helps. I also have two other siblings who are lawyers.
Okay.
My older sister, she practices in Trinidad, and my
Wow.
younger sister, she became a lawyer just last year. So
Okay. Congrats.
my older sister definitely served as inspiration. If she hears this, I would not hear the end of it. But
Oh, she's gonna hear it.
yeah, she definitely seeing her success definitely was inspirational to me. And just having the support of my family, knowing whatever I choose to do, they would be there um, to support me. Going to law school in Trinidad is no easy task financially, but my parents were willing to make the sacrifice without even
Nice.
flinching.
That's so
Many
nice.
persons would not have had the opportunity, and they're not exactly rich
Yeah.
in a certain sense. They had to work and make tremendous sacrifice so that I could pursue my studies, and they did it. And not only for me, but for all my siblings.
That's so nice. And you're one of six too, right?
I am. That's
So
right.
did you ever feel like pressure to live up to any like expectations or academic, athletic, or something like that otherwise?
It's a very common question, um, because my siblings have all done very well in their respective disciplines. But I never felt that pressure. And I would give credit to my parents for creating an environment where you don't feel as if it's competitiveness. Of course, you would urge each other to do well, but I can truly say I've never felt pressured because my sibling has done well, so I need to do well for that reason. Of course, I need to do well for other reasons, but that competitiveness or pressure, I haven't felt it in that way. I'm happy. I'm very happy for that because I've seen it in other families, and I think it can be very stifling.
So when you were going to law school, so we're going to talk about how there's no law school in Guyana, but you're at some,
Mhm.
they're going through some sort of process right now. But
Yeah.
you went to Hugh Wooding Law School, and then you earned your LLM at University of East London. Now, is it true like the top 25 students go to are able to get into that law school? Is that something that happens? And like where is that, the Hugh Wooding Law School?
Yeah. The Wooding Law School is in Trinidad.
Okay.
Um, so what happens is that we have the LLB program in Guyana at the University of Guyana. That program is for 3 years,
Okay.
and after completing the 3 years, the top 25 students would then have automatic entry to your Wooding Law School.
Wow.
There's another, uh, you can also gain entry by taking the entrance exam, but then there's a space issue at the law school. So many persons may write the exam and even be successful, but still, due to space, they would be unable to attend. But the top 25 students from the LLB program, they would gain automatic entry.
That's amazing. So congratulations on that. Obviously, like an academic, you did really well, and you were able to get that entry into the program. What was it like over there? What was like the law school experience like?
In Trinidad, well, um, it was a completely new experience for me. I have lived in Guyana all my life, and I have
Yep.
clearly returned after law school. But for the first time, I would have had to balance shopping, cooking,
Yeah.
paying rent, paying
Right.
bills.
Right.
And of course, you have to do well because there is, um, in addition to wanting to become a lawyer and to succeed, there is that sacrifice that others would have made for you to be there.
Right.
So it certainly was a challenging experience, certainly also blessed. Because one of the things that I noticed, I mentioned that the top 25 students would get automatic entry, is that when we got to Trinidad, there was a special bond that was created uh, with the Guyanese students.
Okay.
So we worked together. We did a lot of things together. We supported each other through those challenging 2 years,
Yeah.
because there's a saying that getting into law school is difficult, but getting out is even harder.
Yeah. That's interesting. I like that. I don't think I've ever heard that
Yeah.
one. I like it.
So as a class, we really came together to ensure that everybody would succeed. Um, of course, there were sleepless nights. There were the doubts and the questioning. Am I really
Yeah.
supposed to be a lawyer? Should I really be here? What am I doing to myself?
What
Those
am I doing to
questions.
myself? Yeah.
But I think all of that is to really shape you as a person, not just a lawyer, but as a person, because it certainly develops certain qualities within you um, that are necessary within the profession.
Yeah. So you had a couple jobs and tell us where you're licensed again to
Sorry?
practice law. Tell us where you're certified and
Oh,
licensed to practice law. Guyana?
yes, Guyana and St. Kitts
Right. Thank
thus
you.
far.
So
Yes.
how did you come across Stanbrook Prudhoe? Tell us a little bit about the firm.
Well, I'm not on social media a lot, but I
Okay.
remember I was on LinkedIn and I came across the name of the firm and I checked it out. And after I,
You paused for about 5 seconds there.
oh, sorry.
So you know you said you were in LinkedIn. So you checked it, you saw it on LinkedIn, and then you stopped, and then so pick it up from there.
Yeah, and I was very impressed by, well, I thought the photos on the beach were quite interesting.
You like the
And
website too, apparently.
yeah, the website was definitely like catcher. It's like
Oh yeah.
this everybody in the suit and the tie and the professional outfit taking these photos on the beach. Thought it was quite interesting. And I later got in contact with someone who was recruiting and they told me, "Hey, are you interested?" And I definitely was. So it was a resounding yes.
There you go.
Um,
I like that.
so I got to understand more of the work of the firm, and realized that yes, it is definitely in alignment with some of my personal goals. So eventually I reached out to Mr. Tim Prudo. Well, and then he reached out to me and we got a few conversations in. And as of February this year, I started with Stanbrook Prudhoe.
That's great. So what kind of work are you doing, Savion?
Interestingly, I have grown accustomed and a liking for civil and commercial law.
Okay.
Previously, I worked with a law firm that represented a bank and mostly financial institutions and so on. So we have some of that, but thus far, Stanbrook Prudhoe has taken me in an interesting direction
Okay.
in which now I'm advocating to some extent for environmental protection. Of course, there's still some matters that involve contract law, commercial law, but so far I've really been working with matters that advocate for the protection of the environment.
Yeah, no, that's I you know
It
I
has been new and very refreshing for me.
yeah, I think Anna Kay was telling me a little bit about that too. I don't I think
Yeah.
we were talking about that a little bit. So there are some regulatory challenges facing civil and commercial litigation in Guyana, but I want to ask you about something first. Tell us a little bit about the law school, um, trying to get a law school in Guyana, because obviously you had to go
Mhm.
elsewhere to study, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was like sort of if you were at the certain ranking, you could get into the law school. Maybe that was some sort of like not a promotion, but that was some sort of way to help out the students in
Mhm.
Guyana. So, like, tell us the importance and why there's such a need for the law school there.
Yeah, in around 2018, 2019, I recall there being a great push to have a local law school. I recall very vividly that persons who completed the LLB program, but could not either afford law school in Trinidad or for whatever other reason, they became very hyped because we're now going to have a local law school. We're
Right.
going to produce our own lawyers. But at some point, it fell through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what all the reasons are. But I think now more than ever, I think it's something that as a nation, we would need to look into again. I think there are tremendous benefits to having our own law school. And one of the things that come to mind immediately is that we are indeed the fastest growing economy, or at least one of the fastest growing economies in the world. We have been diversifying, and we are now we're now seeing a change in the way we do business. We're now having a lot of international organizations come into our country. Our contracts and agreements are taking a different form, now catering to oil and gas
Right.
and so on. So I think one benefit of having a law school is training lawyers and legal professionals that would be able to find themselves in these spaces where there's now international players, a different landscape in the market, in the economy, even in the political arena.
Right.
Because I do think lawyers and the legal system is very critical in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And having a law school would be able to facilitate and train lawyers in order to promote transparency, effectiveness within this fastest growing economy of the world.
Wow, that's amazing. And is this something that you would obviously want to be a part of? Would you be a teacher? Like, what would you? How would you personally, Savion, contribute?
Absolutely. I one of the things that I have always done is to teach, because I think knowledge is not something that you just have and you keep. I do think it ought to be shared. Even
Like,
while I was studying at the University of Guyana, I was teaching. Um, when I was even coaching lawn tennis, I became a lawyer and I continue to teach, particularly equity and trust.
okay.
I also would teach a course that helps police prosecutors to understand the law and how to prosecute matters in court. So I would certainly see myself being a part of it. I have absolutely no reservation in teaching, training, assisting in any way I can, because I do see the value in it. I think it would be useful for us as a nation.
Yeah. No, definitely. And like you said, it is going undergoing a rapid growth, especially in the oil.
Certainly.
So it would be, a lot of international players and a lot of things happening there. So your practice, you say it spans litigation, real estate, probate, fiduciary, now environmental.
Correct.
What's most challenging to you, and like, or what do you find the most rewarding?
Hmm. Um, what I find most rewarding generally is having satisfied clients.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, that's a great
there
answer.
were some matters, there were some matters that I thought, I don't know if the judge is going to buy this. Um, Sometimes I believe my clients, but the evidence and sometimes the facts do not sound as believable to a third party. And what is extremely rewarding to me is when the system works so that justice is done and clients are happy. It's a very satisfying feeling. Um, one of the challenges, or yes, one of the challenges is stepping out of my comfort zone. So I found that I was enjoying commercial, civil. So whenever a matter comes that is of a criminal nature, I would always be hesitant. Even some family matters, while
Yeah.
they're not difficult, I just prefer not to do it.
Yeah.
But um, I realized that it was somewhat of a mental block that I had put up because I said, okay, I'm going to do civil land disputes, commercial disputes, and so on. So when a person comes with a traffic violation, and
Yeah.
yeah, I really had to get over that mental block in order to properly represent. Um, of course, there are other complex matters, and there are matters that require you to develop a certain style. I remember doing matters with that involve breach of contract for construction work, and there were a lot of engineering terms and
Right.
experts, and I remember spending a lot of time trying to just understand the terminology
Right.
of the discipline in order to represent in court. And
Yeah, that makes sense. How about, do you remember a prescriptive title claim with rice farmers before the Rice Assessment Committee? Do you remember anything about that? That sounds like
oh
some
yes,
that sounds like a law school thing, prescriptive title claims like that. I feel like, and I think here in
yeah,
the US, by the way, the bar exam is like today and tomorrow, so that gave me a little bit of flashback to hearing these terms. But do
mm,
like land rights and agriculture? That's a big deal there, as it is anywhere.
certainly.
Did you gain a lot of insights from that case? You don't have to. We could move on if you don't remember it. I don't. I don't want to put you on the spot, Savion.
I did. Yeah, and I'll put it this way. Um, and I'll tie it back to why I think a law school is also useful.
Yeah.
Advocating on the case with the rice farmers before the Rice Assessment Committee. That was another area of law that was very new to me.
Right.
I learned absolutely nothing about it in law school because it is not a common phenomenon within all of the Caribbean countries. It is very unique to Guyana. There's some legislation that you would not find elsewhere, and that is one of them. And I was able to learn the Rice Assessment Act, and
Wow.
it was
Wow. The
it
rice
was it was
assessment.
also
Oof.
yes,
I
it
don't know,
was
man. I I might have to look that one up just for the heck of it. Rice assessment.
yeah,
I
I
haven't.
hope I got the name right. It's the
You did. You
Rice
did.
Farmers Tenure Act. Yeah.
There's a rice assessment committee.
There is a Rice Assessment Committee.
Can you like?
That's right.
Are we talking rice that you like eat like rice? Like it's. I guess
Yeah, rice, because
agriculture. So
one one of the one of the main economic uh industries in Guyana is rice farming. And this is particularly on the Essequibo Coast. In fact, where I represented the rice farmers was in Essequibo, in Anna Regina, which is across the Essequibo River. If you look at the map, you'll see Essequibo is pretty large river, sometimes referred to as the mighty Essequibo. So
wow.
there is a lot of rice farming that's going on. And because of that, legislators saw the need to develop laws to regulate it because persons are renting rice lands, they're farming, and it's a lease arrangement that is different from the regular landlord and tenant because
Interesting.
it's
Okay.
of such national importance that we don't just put it on the landlord and tenant. It's a
Yeah,
completely different regime.
that's awesome. Um, it actually sounds pretty interesting, like an interesting piece of that law. So
It is, yeah.
so you're the director of the Banab Foundation, is that what it is?
The Banab Foundation, yes.
Tell us about that and how your legal background
So,
forms your work in the
mhm.
community.
Well, this actually started long before I became an attorney. The
Okay.
Banab Foundation is actually founded by myself and some colleagues from
Wow.
high school. And again, with that urge to just be of assistance, we noticed that there were um, a lot of students who were attending school but not doing very well when it came to CXE. CXE is the exam that you take at around 14, 15 in order to either get a job or for the education. So we noticed that in some schools, students were not doing well. So we started a program called the Cognitive Initiative, in which during the August holidays, we would have a program to tutor and to teach students who may be weak in maths and English.
Wow.
I later went on to teach maths while I was doing my LLB, provide them with a meal. And this developed over 4 or 5 years. And I remember more recently, we were not just teaching, but we had persons coming to motivate the students. We had a time of games. We had um, a lot of interaction with persons in the professional world so that we could inspire these students to strive for excellence and to do well.
That's amazing that you did that you took the initiative to do that. That goes back to how much you really have a love for where you're from, I think, and the passion and
Certainly,
wanting
certainly.
people to do well and the culture and and just your drive for that. So you're big into community too, I could tell, right? Like that's like a community type of action to be
Yes, I
doing. Yeah.
definitely see myself doing more to be of assistance, make meaningful contribution to the lives of persons who, like I said, may be less fortunate or treated unfairly.
So nice.
I certainly see that as a part of why I do what I do.
I love that. And you talked earlier about you were like, oh, maybe I should go into politics, but being a lawyer right now is an amazing start, right? And it never
It
precludes
certainly
you
is.
from being going into politics. I mean, no offense,
Certainly.
Stanbrook Prudhoe. I'm sure you'll be there for many years, but eventually, man, like you could be that could be something that you do. So, what give us some advice to like a young Guyanese person who aspires to pursue law or combine professional and community work, just like you.
Mhm. Yeah. I think one thing that really helped me is just knowing you may not know exactly what is it you want to do, but if you decide that you want to pursue law, it is very rewarding, but it is also hard work.
Yep.
Um, you must be willing to put in the hours. You must be willing to perhaps separate from those who are not as on the same path as you are, because it requires a lot of long nights, a lot of reading. Um, it requires you to take yourself out of your comfort zone. I was not always a person that prefers to speak. Um, in a room, I would probably want to remain quiet, but sometimes you have to make the difficult decision. And the comforting fact is that when you put yourself in these uncomfortable positions, when you make the sacrifice now, it eventually is rewarding and it certainly helps in your personal development. And there will be no regrets once you achieve your dream. If that dream is to be a lawyer, then you make the sacrifices. And another important thing I would advise is that you align yourself with persons who are like-minded. Um, if possible, you
Like
should have
that.
a mentor.
Oh
You should
yeah.
have a mentor who is able to keep you grounded, because when it becomes difficult, if it becomes stressful, the entire goal of uh, pursuing your dreams, it becomes dead if you decide, "Ah, this is too much for me." But when it is the hardest and the most stressful, it is in those times that you really need to press through.
Yep.
And those are the moments that really build your character.
Amazing advice. So, did you have a mentor?
Um, I had quite a few.
Okay.
Um, like I said, even my oldest sister, who was a few years, just 2 or 3 years ahead of me, always willing to assist. Um, I had very good friends throughout law school.
Okay, that's good.
We
Yep.
They encouraged me.
Yep.
I had a church family. I have the elders there. They were always very supportive. My parents, of course, played the greatest role
Right.
in because I've seen their hard work. I see their sacrifices. They're always encouraging, always supportive, and it helps. It certainly does.
That's amazing. Sounds like you come from a wonderful family. So, what drives your passion for both teaching and practicing law? Like, what really inspires you to keep doing it?
It is those moments of satisfaction when you achieve what you want to achieve. Um, it is again that desire to be of assistance when somebody is at their lowest, when somebody is being unfairly treated or finds themselves in a situation where they're in need of some sort of assistance. It is the thank you, you've done a great job. I'm happy. I'm glad I came to you. That you hear at the end of a matter. Um, those are the things, those are the subtle, rewarding moments that would cause me to be motivated and to continue to press forward. Um, when it comes to teaching, I have realized at a very early stage of teaching, mentoring students that, and even from my days as a student, the role of a teacher and a mentor is very, very important.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are persons who do it for the money. There are persons and personalities that may not be the best fit to mentor and to teach.
Right.
And we see results of that in society. And I just see it as another area in which I can make a valuable or meaningful contribution to somebody else, whether it's children or adults in law school or persons in the police force, whatever it is. It is just another way that I see myself being of uh, use
Yeah.
in the society.
That's amazing. Um, so, from your vantage point, going back to the legal issues in Guyana, like what is the most pressing legal or like regulatory challenge that's facing in a civil or commercial capacity in
Mm,
Guyana? Like what is the biggest challenge? And maybe it goes back to not having a law school and not having people there to like represent or like what do you think it is?
mhm. Yeah, well, that's one issue. But I think what needs to happen now, and there has been some progress, but there is certainly a need for stronger legislative framework
Interesting.
um, that would accommodate the growth that is taking place in the economy. One important development was the Local Content Act, which ensures that Guyanese are employed and trained even when these foreign companies come and within the oil and gas industry. But there's still room for a lot of legislative growth to ensure that there is transparency, accountability, and yes, generally just stronger legislative work for all that's about to take place
Yeah.
in Guyana.
Yep. So, and I guess the Council of Legal Education is waiting for the final report about. Do you know about that? Like with the law school, and then I guess they make a decision, and like where.
Yeah, it
Let's
has
talk.
been
Let's talk a little bit more about the law school piece. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it has been quiet for a while. I know that the Bar Association is still pushing forward with it. One of the important things is having CLE approval and recognition. I can't say definitively at what stage they're at with that, but I know that the Bar Association of Guyana and a lot of other persons, interested persons, including uh, the hundreds of past students who still want to pursue the dream of being a lawyer. They would have passed the first stage and getting the LLB, and now they want to go on to get the LEC,
Mhm.
masters, or whatever it is. So there's still a lot of persons that are pushing for this to become a reality. And I am somewhat optimistic. I think that more should be happening now, but I do I do really hope that this is something that we can see unfolding within the near future.
Yeah. No. Definitely. What is the process to get certified or bar or whatever? What have you in Guyana? Is it an exam after a couple years of school?
After getting your LEC, which is the legal education certificate at you wouldn't or any of the three law schools within the Caribbean, there is a more a ceremonial um, process which we call admission to the bar.
Okay.
So as long as you are a Commonwealth Caribbean citizen, you have the LLB, which is the law degree, you have the LEC. Of course, there are no criminal record and these other things. You're of good
Right.
character,
Right.
then there is a court hearing. It's an application made to the court for you to be admitted to practice law in the Caribbean.
Okay.
Um, a similar process in most other Caribbean countries where you make an application to become an attorney at law.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. So, do you think you'll be like the first? Maybe you'll be on the board for the law school, or maybe you'll be like the first dean of the law school, or you never know. I mean, you're working at a prestigious place right now, Savion. Stanbrook Prudhoe. It's a great place. You keep
Mhm.
doing what you're doing, and
It certainly is, yeah.
you never know. What did we leave anything out about the law school bit? Did you want to talk more about that or anything in general?
I just think that it's the right direction to go. Um, Arguments that there are too many lawyers in Guyana and these things, I don't think that they hold true. I really do think there's space for more lawyers. We have areas that we can specialize in. There are regions within the country that can use a lot of legal aid. Um,
Yep.
I really do think it's the right way to go. And getting into the top 25 is not necessarily a testament of a person's academic competence.
Okay.
I know the last set of students, the top 25, the competition is so rigid and so tight that the top 25 are all distinction students. And then you had 26, 27 all graduating with distinction. So these
Wow.
are brilliant people
Yeah.
There are also some other law programs being offered by some other universities, and they're doing exceptionally well, but may not fall into the top 25 to get automatic entry, or may not be a part of the University of Guyana to get into the top 25 in the first place to get automatic entry. So I think it's the right way to go,
Yeah,
and
totally.
I would continue to advocate, and I'm ready, willing to assist in whatever way I can, because I do think in a country that is fastly developing as we are, it is something that we need to have.
Right, right. And so when you say, just to go back real quick, when you say fastly developing, like what types of things do you see like daily or maybe like monthly or like what I know things develop over time, but and I know
Mhm.
the industrial growth, like the oil and environmental governance, what's like the quickest thing that you're seeing happening?
So right now we are seeing a massive boom in terms of infrastructure.
Okay.
We're having new roads. We had the floating Demerara Bridge for over 40 years. It's now being replaced by
Wow.
uh, international standard bridge across linking over the Demerara River. We're
Okay.
having a lot more high-rise buildings, hotels,
Wow.
and of course, these things create employment, and the entire landscape of Georgetown and the country is now changing and having more semblance to a country that is developed.
That's interesting. And along with that comes a lot more legal issues, right?
A lot of legal
A lot
issues.
of legal
A
issues.
lot of legal issues.
How do you
Yeah.
feel seeing your country going through that, the development and everything?
It is certainly it certainly gives me a sense of pride. I've always loved my country very much.
Yeah,
Um, there were opportunities to leave, but I prefer to be here,
it's
and
great.
I'm happy that I'm at this stage when this development is taking place. I'll be able to see some of the end results of it. And yeah, I just think that it is indeed a blessing. Our country is blessed,
Yeah, that's
and I'm happy
amazing.
to be a part of it.
That's amazing. I could tell. So, are you the only associate that lives there from Stanbrook Prudhoe?
No, there's one other person,
Okay. All
my
right.
colleague, Susan Bullen. She's also stationed in Guyana.
Very cool. Yeah, what a pleasure. Is there anything we missed today that you want to talk about, Savion?
Nothing comes to mind, but
Okay. Yeah. No, this was awesome. It's really you could tell you're a very smart person. You know, very well spoken. Keep up the good work. You're definitely gonna go
thank you. I
far.
appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. They got a good one, Stanbrook Prudhoe, with you. So shout out to Anna Kay again, and
Yes, I'll
tell her I
definitely
say
give her
hello.
your greetings.
Tell her I say hello. Um,
Yes.
thanks for tuning in, Savion. Stay right there. Um, thanks everybody for coming in, tuning in, wherever you're listening or watching, wherever you are in the world today. Enjoy yourselves. Cheers.